back. It is Tug Toller and
Kate Reed, Bosma Design.
Yes, and it's we're here for a little ESMTT.
Source Miller, Tug Talk. Yeah, right. Isn't that what
there
we
was
came
a
up
lot
with?
of there was a lot of confidence.
Hesitation there.
I saw a lot of confidence. If it was just me, just us girls talking, I saw it. It was you were really hitting it so that everyone knew. Tug Talk.
Well, it's been a while since I came up with a name for you.
So we're back.
We're back.
We're back. Thank you very much for joining.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit more. We're going to do a little part two here.
Oh,
yes. A little part two with consultants. And
one thing a consultant loves to do is talk about themselves.
I haven't found that to be accurate at all, Kate. If it's, I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that's accurate. So we're going to talk a little bit more. We talked about why, right? Like,
why would you hire a consultant?
What is a consultant? Why would you hire a consultant? Where do you guys fit in? Where do you help? Go watch the previous one if you're interested in those. So some other things we hadn't talked about for consulting. Certifications on projects. LEEDs was a very popular one. Still is.
It still is.
It had like a huge, especially all the B&Is that were really trying hard to get a LEED certification. Not all, but a lot.
A lot were. And if you've worked with us for any amount of time.
Real quick, what is LEEDs?
LEED is Leadership, Energy, Environmental Design.
I mean the acronym. Who cares about an acronym?
Right? Okay. I was really proud of that, though.
NSF doesn't actually mean anything anymore.
That is very true.
It used to mean something, but now, it sounds National Sanitation Foundation, right?
I'm going to say foundation. I want to say Federation, but I think that's Star Trek.
I think it's foundation. Or no man. But yeah, that's now just NSF is NSF. That's all it stands for.
So when we say LEED, it's LEED, but that just means that the project was made environmentally sustainable. It was made with a green future in mind. So
and there's different levels of it, right?
There are a lot of different levels. It's based on a point system, and so you go through during the design process and you get points for specific insulation, specific roofing, specific use of alternate power sources. When it comes to a commercial kitchen, it's very, very hard to get LEED points.
That was going to be the next question. How do you make a kitchen into a LEED building?
I really think that we contribute less than 10 points to the LEED. And I can get 3 points sometime on an energy efficient dish machine, which okay. Faucets are one where they are like, oh, we really want to focus on this gallon per minute and this. And I'm like, yeah. I can get you 1 or 2 faucets in that will meet that requirement, but most of ours just...
They're not going to, right?
They're not going to.
I've got an interesting stat for you that I heard.
Oh.
So, grain of salt.
Tell me.
You are 9 times more likely to go back to a restaurant for bad food than a dirty dish. So, we were talking about trying to use water to spray off that plate, right? And if you have a very low flow, it tends to be very hard to be able to get it. And maybe you're able to get it off, but then you tend to then be clogging your drains because it's not pushing enough fat and grease stuff down. But that was an interesting stat that I'd heard. You're 9 times more likely.
I believe that because bad food can be fixed. But if I can see the front of the house is nasty, if my plates or if there's spots, I think that's a turnoff for almost everybody.
Is it bad that I just thought of 4 places? It's like, no, I'm not going to say it.
Okay, so the rule with any rep who has ever called on me has been, you can tell me don't go eat there, but you've never been allowed to tell me why. Right. I don't need to know. Please don't tell me.
Yeah, because I was thinking front of house ones. I mean, we get to see the back of house often. There's things that have shocked, so my rule on it is I'm not going to say anything, right? If it's something that's small, but if it's actually going to endanger someone, then I'm going to go ahead and say something. So there was a place that they were chopping they were cutting vegetables on a cutting board. And the guy cutting it had his donut also on the cutting board, and he would take a bite and put it back on the cutting board, which I didn't say it yet. That was really gross, but okay. And then they brought out this chicken that we were going to cook, and it was brined. So they're taking it out of this chicken water. Yeah. And the water's just getting everywhere.
Oh, no.
Someone grabs a board and goes to put down to do lettuce right there. And I'm like, you got to stop. You got to stop. You can't. That's... Please. And, and I tell, and the manager comes in, you guys know better. I'm like, clearly they don't, because I was in that kitchen and they didn't have any problem doing it right there in front of me. So maybe they know better, but they certainly don't care that that's what you're, any food safety in that. Yeah.
That's the, you can lead a horse to water. We can design the best kitchen. Speaking of leads.
Speaking of leads.
I know, right? Just tied that in.
Nailed it.
So one of the things that was really cool during the COVID years when there was a lot of remote work was that a lot of those companies put out free programs. And so the food safety programs did a ton for the restaurant. Like, we know that you're not doing a whole lot. Let's put out some free courses.
Let's get some trainings.
Let's get some trainings in.
Yeah.
And so,
continuing ed.
Get your CEUs in. So that was a neat thing, because you can design, you can put in the best equipment, you can give them all the tools, but it still comes down to a lot of that training in the end. So
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So with leads, lead is singular. I keep saying leads, but it's singular. With lead certification, sustainability is a very large part of that. How much do you guys run into the sustainability side for kitchens?
We run in, honestly, it's more self-imposed than anything else.
Right.
Because we believe in it. As a company, as a culture, we believe that we want to leave the planet better than we found it. And which is really hard when we deal with a lot of raw resources in our industry. But we do want to make sure that if there is something that provides reduced water usage, that's what we're going to use. We actually do a whole lot of training, because there's a lot of times if I'm doing a redesign, we had a school that was doing a remodel. Mm-hmm. All of their infrastructure was already in place. And this school also happened to be in a high-rise building. So the kitchen was on the second floor.
That's cool.
Oh, yeah. The second kitchen was going to be on the 8th floor. It was going to be a warming kitchen with a servery.
Yeah.
So with that high-rise is going to have different space in between the floors than a new kitchen it's got the big slab where I can put all those utilities, and it's wonderful.
Right.
So we had to be very, very mindful of existing utilities, of utility placement, and one of the things that we could really do to fix that and be sustainable at the same time is some of the new technology, the waterless hot wells. Yeah. So there's a lot of companies now, they're doing the wireless hot wells. I don't have to run a drain. I don't have to be over an existing drain.
It's so much nicer.
What? I think it's so much nicer. We should do this all the time.
Right. But it's much easier, right?
It's much
For
easier.
the MEP that you were talking about, the MEP stands for?
Mechanical, electrical, and plumbing.
So that's all the stuff behind the walls, under the walls, under the floor that people don't often think about.
Yes.
Right. But not just that, just the not having to fill 3
fill
gallons per thing, right? If you have a 5-well, 6-well, it's water within there. You can always smell when a water runs dry out of a hot well that is supposed to have that, right? We just walk in and you go, you guys might want to check that well.
Yeah, it's a little dry.
I can smell it.
Yeah,
it's there.
We can tell.
So, yeah, that's really cool. So what are some other bigger, do you have some other ones that tend to kind of lead towards the sustainability, right? Like we're talking maybe dish machines, right? Or the hot wells, anything else? You know,
that's a lot of the new technology. I had a client call just this morning.
Oh, really?
Really. And
this is real time.
This is real time. But they were like, why are we running so many more amps? Like, aren't we just replacing stuff one for one? And I was like, well, the equipment is more efficient. And to have more efficient equipment, a lot of times I'm pulling more power.
Right.
So it's a fine line between, do you want to run faster turn times, or do you want a slightly smaller electric bill? Do you want to use some less of those resources that are coming in? So we work our hardest to do what we can, but it's also a commercial kitchen, and output and profit is what rules.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I say it all the time to people when they come in, like, capital's capital. Like, I'm not going to sell you a $20,000 dish machine when you guys could lease it for $200 a month kind of thing, right? Like, get the doors open, get money coming in, then we can talk about. Yeah,
we can talk about changing things. One thing that the entire industry is shifting on is garbage disposers. It used to go in everywhere.
Every single place.
Yeah, every single place. But now we're seeing more and more municipalities that are pulling them out. They're not allowing them. And so that's when our training comes into place with, all right, we've got the scrappers, we've got the collectors, and a lot of those actually are now made with reduced water usage as well.
Right.
So they're going to recycle some of that water, whereas if you just have a jet spray.
And a little scrap screen.
Yeah. So it's a lot of that where we try to do what we can with what we have and meet the requirements, but also I have to give you something that works.
Right.
So,
and I was going to ask you that, is it tends to be more municipality driven, right?
Yes.
For that application at least, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll have people say, well, I want to do this. And you're like, all right, great. That's, you don't have to. The municipality says we're fine with disposers, but I get it. Good.
But yeah, if you want to, we are 100% on board with that. If you want to be sustainable, we'll do anything we can to get you there. So.
Well, and another side of that I've heard, at least we don't really have it much here, of them having to pay the weight of the trash too, right?
Yes.
And so like there's scrappers out there that reduce the volume and weight and whatnot. So collectors, scrappers. Is that, have you guys run into that where you have a customer that they're getting their trash weighed and they're like, we need to find a way to get rid of the liquids out of this?
Yeah, no, and that is a conversation that comes up because a lot of times when we're designing all of this and they're like, okay, well, we've got the trash back here, we've got the recycle back here. And I'm like, don't forget to save room for your grease disposal unit. And then,
What?
I know, right? I worked with a client for years, and this is one of those that I just assumed they knew. I assumed the architect knew because they had also worked with this client for years.
Right.
And when I just happened to mention, oh yeah, the grease disposal unit, I said, this seems really tight. And they're like, the what? I went, yeah, after y'all leave.
Like with the fryer, we get rid of the oil. And
a third party comes out and sets this down out here for them. And they're like, really? And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, well, we've never designed. I'm like, well, no, because it's third party. It's not part of the design.
Right.
We don't really have anything to do with it. I just assumed y'all were always leaving space for it. But that's when the discussion comes up of, okay, so we need to make sure that we have a bigger recycle space because we've got this, or they do charge by the pound. My trash charges by the pound at the house. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's why recycle is free. City of Fort Worth, if you want to know this, recycle is free. Trash charges, they get paid by the pound.
Sure.
So they don't charge us by the pound, but they get paid by the pound they pick up. So it does come up of, here's where I'm spending my money, and I don't want to spend it on my trash collection.
Sure.
But yes, that does come up.
Okay. So we're ready for a little left turn. How about something like, so you had to learn obviously a lot about LEED certification and what goes into it and whatnot. Is there any other that you've had to kind of deep dive? You're like, this, I didn't think this would be part of my job. Maybe something for schools, maybe something to do with regulation on what the kids eat and how much of something they have to have. Anything like that?
Oh, well, now that you mention that, now that he brings that up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is
because USDA. That's what we're talking about, right? The guidelines that they have for schools. I've tried, not wholeheartedly, right? But I've tried where I'm like, oh, well, let me kind of. That's not an easy read.
No,
that's not fun.
No, it's not, and it's ever changing. And unfortunately, a lot of our school food changes due to political reasons.
Sure.
And it's really hard. But one of the things that I think it was, and this was many years ago, but it was the very first coffee bistro we put into a high school. And that's no problem. But as we're sitting in the meetings, we know the kids want the green brand that's going to be that Frappuccino, and it's going to be all full
of sugar.
Full of sugar. And we're like, okay, that's no problem. But all of your coffees, all of your Frappuccinos, all your smoothies, as a reminder, we need to have the smaller cups. So when you're planning all of this, we have to have a little extra space for storage because it's smaller cups, meaning you need more of those. And when we talk about, okay, well, you can display all of this, but keep in mind, you still have to meet all of it. Because they're like, oh, well, no, this is going to be. I'm like, no.
Right.
It operates in school hours. We still have to meet the same USDA guidelines. You're just going to see it more, and you're going to see the restrictions because it's a smaller space.
Right. And
it's a smaller menu. And you have choices. I know a lot of the cafeterias are now offer versus serve.
Right.
And so you can pick from here, and
they'll
here.
They'll have different lines of doing different things. And then there's usually one line that's still like, hey, this is the one that you have to do. But that tends to be the free and reduced or, right.
Yeah. So, but with the, when you start getting into the bistros, which is an excellent source of income for the schools, and we love it. And it gives but it's one of those, okay, well, don't forget, you're only going to be able to do this cookie and you're only going to be able to do this. So y'all are planning all of this. But then go ahead.
Well, I was going to add one other thing. And they have grants out there to help, right? So like the dairy board has grants, but then when you're doing that, then it's, hey, every single drink needs to have this much dairy in there, right? So then you're trying to think like, all right, well, now we've got this guideline, and then we're trying to fight this guideline with that guideline, and there's just a lot to do with any of that, right?
Where can I fill the under-counter refrigerator to hold all the milk that's going to run up to their espresso machine? And yeah, it's a lot. Yeah. And then the flip side is when you get into culinary arts, which is a commercial kitchen, but it doesn't follow any of those guidelines.
Right.
Because that's going to be a training space. And we get that. And I'm like, yes, this is where I get to have fun because you get to learn everything in culinary arts. But the architects are so used to the kitchen restrictions that they're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, yes, I can. Right. This is the kitchen.
Or the more affluent areas, right? That like high schools that they're like, we're not going to follow the plan. We're going to do what we want. So we're bringing fryers back. And we're, like all of that. We're be like, well, you can do fryers in schools. Yes, as long as you don't want government money.
Yeah, as long as you don't want government money. And that's one thing, if a fryer's on the list, that's the first question I ask is, are you receiving government money? I said, you need to make sure that question gets answered because we don't want to be the reason why you were like, because they may not know. If they're just coming in and they weren't, I remember pulling all the fryers out of schools. Yeah. That's how long I've been in the industry.
Yeah, that was right when I started.
Yeah.
That was right around like 2007-ish.
Yeah, and it's something we're still very cognizant of, so.
But yeah, there's things that I didn't think I would have to learn or know about, and it comes up often.
Yeah.
Need to know a lot of different things.
Yeah, and the nice thing is that when you've done it a while, I got in trouble I didn't get in trouble, but I got caught. There was a rep group that had the same person in the same position forever, and they retired and someone new came in, and they started asking all these questions, and I'm like, no, we just do this. And no, we just do this. And that was when I realized that there's just a whole lot of innate knowledge sometimes which is when we really started going, no, we need to start sharing all this and we need to start documenting better because someone else may know that anytime I want this is what we need.
Right.
But it's one of those that there's just a whole lot of memorization that comes into play sometimes. And what is a general rule of thumb for most places, you're always going to get the one that the general rule of thumb with hand sinks is 25-foot line of sight. I have to have a hand sink that often so that employees are encouraged to wash their hands, which is a very big thing in my world. Germs are real, people. Not like I'm a germaphobe. Now I'm getting the GBs.
I mean, we are.
We're Kate slightly germaphobes.
We're a little bit germophobic, right?
I was doing hand sanitizer in between shots. But it was one of those that they were like, you can't turn a corner and it can't be in a separate room. But there was one, I was like, no, it's right there at the serving line. Well, you have to walk, you can see it, but you had to turn 190-degree around a serving line. Right. And they were like, no. And I was like, okay. So I learned a whole lot about persnickety. Persnickety people, persnickety codes. And so.
Sounds like a children's book. No, that's Lemony Snicket, right? That's totally different. Yeah.
Totally different.
Totally different. Damn it.
So close.
But
close.
But really not. It was nice of you to say it. It really wasn't that close. It was a stretch.
And the nice thing is there's a whole lot of training that happens in our industry. And so whether it's on the food service side, whether it's on construction and architecture side, it's nice to be able to be exposed to it and carry it forward with everything. Everything we learn, we take forward with us.
That is one really great thing right now is, for the most part, there's probably a YouTube video describing how to do something, right? And like if you're new to how do we do this, go look.
Yeah.
More than likely, there's probably something already out there.
That is true. And one thing that we really embrace in our company is technology. And so it gives us the opportunity to, with the Revit program that we use in lieu of CAD, our sheets will talk to the others, and they're able to run clash detection reports now.
Let's step it back. What's CAD and what's Revit?
CAD's going to be your little 2D blueprint that you're used to seeing. Revit's going to be more of a 3D family that has all of the information about that one piece of equipment. And the nice thing is that my drawings will talk to the plumber's drawings and the electrician's drawings. And so they can easily see all of my connections. You can even quite literally walk through it. You literally can walk through it. And that's one thing that we do now, which will save time and almost hits on sustainability, is they'll run clash detection reports. So they can see now if my hood's sitting in a spot where the HVAC runs their ductwork, but it hits a structural beam. And we're like, okay, can you move your ductwork? Do I need to shift the hood a little bit? Or the floor sink that's sitting in the middle of a structural beam. Can we skip that one over just a little bit? Can that go 6 inches plan west? So using the technology that we have nowadays allows us to be a lot more effective and efficient when it comes to the little stuff that nobody sees.
Right, because in the past, it absolutely happened.
Oh,
right?
yes.
It just wasn't until we were building something and going, oh, damn.
Oh,
that's right in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. It cuts down a lot of our after fact, a lot of the RFIs that come in going, hey, this isn't going to work. And so being able to do a lot of that in advance makes a world of difference. It makes us more efficient. It makes us more effective, and it allows us to focus on creating your dream kitchen instead of worrying about everything else. We can just turn on, where's all the structure, make sure we're missing it. I hit the microphone.
That's okay.
I made it almost this far.
It's all right. Was that the first hit of this?
That was the first hit.
Right.
I know. I was I've been holding my hands.
So, I mean, just a real quick finish on that. Like, that's got to make the construction side happier, right? Where it's just like, man, those projects tend to go a lot smoother. I like working projects with, this consultant or this architect or
it does. And that's the whole goal is if you spend the time and take the time in advance, it makes it so much easier in the end.
Sure.
So, it's good. We like it.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you very much for your time again, Kate.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. If you guys want more, please, I know we've done other videos in the past.
We have.
And maybe we'll do another one of these coming up again, too. Maybe we'll have another one.
That sounds good.
Anything about that?
Good.
Pretty good?
I'm telling you, any questions about consulting, I'm your girl. I will talk your ear off. So thank you. I'm going to do my standard. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them below.
All right. Well, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.